the third quarter horn. Banks it home, and the Celtics lead by 9. Brown works up high against Gafford. He's going to try to blow by him. Does. Now passes out to Horford. Quick pass. Tatum hits from the right wing. Boston by 10. Here's Jaylen Brown. Left-hand dribble. Into the lane. Jaylen Brown. Layup's good. 3-possession game. 29 seconds to go. Boston 105. Dallas 98.
It is the Adam Gold Show. How you doing? I am Adam Gold.
You're back.
I wasn't gone very long. I missed one day.
Just one day.
Wait till we get to the end of this week and the beginning of next.
I know.
It's all right. It's got to happen. We have parental things to do.
It happens.
The only time I ever take off, to be honest, is to get stuff done either around the ranch or with the son that lives with us.
Yeah, either the fur children or the real children.
Exactly. We got a lot of stuff to do. First of all, that was last night. That was Boston taking a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals, a game you might have heard on the radio here if you are local and listening on 99.9 The Fan. That shot by Peyton Pritchard, I mean, it wasn't the most important play of the game. There were a lot of important plays, but that kind of sucked the life out of Dallas right there at the end of the third quarter. Look, they tried to defend it. And like I'm at a loss for some of the narratives that I've heard, like he's the only player that would have attempted that shot. No, he's not. But that's okay. Whatever. I see guys toss up stuff like that all the time. He made it. It's a good look.
Yeah. Good
look. Made it. Boom. 3 points. All the momentum that Dallas might have gotten as they had closed it to within 6. Kind of, even though it's just 3 points, just put the Celtics back in a much better position.
It's huge.
But honestly, Boston's been the better team for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out, been the better team for 2 games. We'll discuss that today. Gary Parrish is going to join us, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we have the added benefit of being able to talk about Danny Hurley. It is Danny Hurley Day.
Oh, okay.
We will get a decision at some point. The white puff of smoke.
Right.
Now, where would that white puff of smoke come? Would that be in L.A., because he might be the next coach of the Lakers,
right.
or would it be in Stores, where he might remain as the head coach of UConn? We'll know when we see where the white puff of smoke is coming from. We need cameras fixed on both locations.
I know.
So it's Danny Hurley Day. We'll talk about that. Also, tonight, 2 teams will win $1 million each at the soccer tournament.
Yeah.
Championship matches are tonight in the women's first. I think that's at 6? I think the women are at 6 and the men are at 7:30.
Okay.
I should get the times right, shouldn't I?
At least it won't be at the peak of heat, because
theoretically it should not be. But yes,
hot this weekend.
Just a tremendous event.
I'm glad you didn't melt while you were there.
It is. It's 7 and 8:30 are the 2 matches.
Okay.
Not 6 and 7:30. 7 and 8:30. Women first at 7, men at 8:30. It wasn't that bad. It was warmer than it was last year.
Well, I was gonna say, was last year the year that you almost melted on the seats? The seats that were super hot?
Right. For the third day.
Yes.
It was, this got really warm. But because I think that was the Friday. The first 2 days were great. Temperature was, high 60s, low 70s.
Perfect.
This, in the mornings, it actually, especially if there was some cloud cover, it was actually quite comfortable.
Good.
But it definitely did warm up. But we have 2 matches for $1 million each. On the women's side, we've got the U.S. women, led by Heather O'Reilly. I was at their first match when they lost to, who was it? Street Ball, a team from Canada, and they looked like they were not going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
But Heather O'Reilly was running around the field yelling at people like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing – she was screaming her head off.
Yeah.
It was great. But they figured it out, won their next 2 matches, then won the semifinal match. And the NC Courage are the opposition. We're actually going to talk to NC Courage legend Jessica McDonald later today as she plays for $1 million tonight.
Are you going tonight to any
I'm going
of
to
them?
try.
Yeah.
We have soccer events of a youth nature.
Right.
So we'll see if we can get there tonight. Either way, when I haven't been there, I have watched.
Yeah.
The whole thing is available on your phone. Some of it's ESPN Plus.
That's convenient.
Tonight's match, I think the men's finals definitely on ESPN2. But I would imagine at the very least ESPN Plus for the women's final. If not, you can just watch it on the soccer tournament's website. I have watched, 30 matches that I wasn't at. If I wasn't there, I have watched about 30 matches. And real quick, the match tonight, the men's final between La Bombonera and Nani FC. Nani, for like 8 years, was a mainstay in Manchester United's lineup. A midfield mainstay. And he's 37 years old, still playing professionally in Turkey, and is still great. And they beat the defending champions last night, Newtown Pride FC. They beat them 2-1 in target score time. Every match ends in target score, but they were down 1-0 going in to target score right after Nani missed the penalty. He missed a penalty that would have tied it at 1.
Oh, no.
So they go into target score down 1-0. Target scores 2. Nani FC comes back and wins it. It was a phenomenal match. They went down to 2v2. That's the goalie and one other.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I feel that sounds like that would be intense.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And the La Bombonera, we watched their first match. We were out there on Wednesday. We went Wednesday morning, and they were one of the first matches out there. And we're sitting there watching, and my son is a youth soccer player, and he turned to me and he goes, "These guys are awesome."
Yeah.
Like, he had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams are just like club teams. They play indoor. They play in local leagues. Like, I really don't, and no, I'm not saying they don't have great players, because they do. But I had never heard of them. And he watched them play, and he's like, these guys are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They're not big, but they play a fast-moving game, and it's a combination of soccer, hockey, and basketball.
Oh, wow.
2 of their goals were deflections, and they were by design. Like, it was awesome.
Sneaky.
So, La Bombonera and Nani FC for the men's title tonight at 8:30. Again, it is a blast. It has been, I think, a pretty successful 6-day run.
Oh, good.
At Wake Med Soccer Park in
It
Cary.
all ends tonight.
It does.
For the
we
money.
Got 2 matches for $1 million each. Very nice. We'll talk to Jessica McDonald from NC Courage and find out if she's already set aside something. But that's coming up much later on. All right, we got a lot of stuff to do. Let's go. Let's get going. I can break down the whole tournament.
Yeah.
I can break down the animosity.
I love it.
There have been some. We almost had a throwdown.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, we came the defending champs. Newtown
So I wouldn't
Pride.
have been the only person watching physical
Exactly.
violence.
Exactly. There were definitely some altercations. All right, let's start with college baseball. UNC is through to the College World Series. Jason DeCaro and Dalton Pence combining on a 4-hitter yesterday. Vance Honeycutt with his 26th home run of the season. Heels advance 2-1. Scott Forbes is the head coach. He has gone, but this group has not.
I'm really happy for this team, these players. I've been fortunate to be in Omaha, and these guys haven't. And my whole goal, I was talking to Mandy, my wife, quite a bit, is I just want to get these guys I want to get them there, and because they deserve to be there. So I'm really excited for our team.
Real heroics came Friday night. Carolina, who had a 4-1 lead early, trailed 6-5 entering the ninth inning to West Virginia. Luke Stevenson led off the ninth with a home run to tie it at 6, and then Honeycutt brought the house down with a 2-run walk-off home run in an 8-6 win. Colby Wilkerson, who had a big hit in the regional round win, had another big hit. He had a 3-run home run, I guess, in a 4-run third inning as they led 4-1 early. Carolina is through along with Virginia and Florida State. On one side, they will join Tennessee from I guess if you were looking at the bracket, it's the left side of the bracket. NC State, which won 18-1 Saturday at Georgia. It was a whooping, but then they had to absorb it because on the other side yesterday, Georgia laid it at, I think it's 11-2, beat them down on the Wolfpack. Here's Georgia's head coach, Wes Johnson.
Yeah, guys, I thought, it was a good bounce back for us today. I brought all three of these guys over here because, it's what they did. It's nothing special we did as coaches. We just got them ready to play, and then these guys went and did it. For us, the bounce back was, huge, just coming out and staying focused and just playing the game. Obviously scoring those two right there in the first got us off to a good start. Layton obviously threw the ball extremely well today. Really put our bullpen at ease a little bit. You never know what you're going to have to do when you come into a game like this. And then obviously, Trey's home run was huge. So
no idea about any of that. I just know 11-2. And tonight, NC State has the opportunity to make it 4 ACC teams in the College World Series. Either way, it's only going to be the SEC and the ACC in Omaha. That's it.
Yep.
It's either 4-4 or 5 SEC teams and 3 ACC teams. And by the way, not to lump all the burden of expectation on State, but just think about this: if State wins today, right? Men's Final Four, Women's Final Four, College World Series, and a cheese rolling championship.
Exactly. World domination. That's what they're trying.
Both 2 continents. It would be utter domination. So good luck to Elliot Avent and the Wolfpack tonight. All right, let's get to some NBA basketball. Celtics defense was really the stars of the show. They hold down Dallas 105-98. I guess it was Thursday. It's my Friday. We had Brian Geisinger on, right? And I asked Geisinger if the element, the Drew Holiday inclusion into this Boston lineup, which going into the season, they didn't have Drew Holiday, but they did, I guess, at the beginning of the season, but in the offseason, it was sort of like, it was one of those things where Milwaukee had to make room to get Damian Lillard in, and Drew Holiday was, I guess, the sacrificial player there. As it turns out, getting rid of Drew Holiday was a dumb idea for Milwaukee. And it's a perfect addition for Boston, who also added Kristaps Porzingis, because Drew Holiday is probably the adult in the room for Boston, who hadn't been able to figure out how to maximize all of their ability. But Holiday it's not like he's super serious all the time. He just knows how to win, and he knows how to defend. And Tim Legler talked about what Holiday has meant to the Celtics.
Like Dallas, Boston didn't have a very good night offensively either, but I thought Drew Holiday was a major difference maker. He played a very smart game. In the first half, particularly when Boston could not make a three-point shot, Drew Holiday did a great job of this, attacking closeout defenders and being patient with the extra dribble to get to the rim. Made his first 9 shots in the paint in this game. And I think without Drew Holiday attacking and taking higher percentage shots in the first half, the way Boston shot the ball, there's a very good chance they're down 8 or 10 at halftime. And it would feel a lot different to the Dallas Mavericks than being down 3. Drew Holiday was the primary reason that the Boston Celtics had a lead at halftime, despite the fact that they shot the ball so poorly. So I think that reflected Boston's versatility and depth and balance. And Drew Holiday was the guy tonight that really gave them a huge lift in that first half and set up their ability to finally start making some shots and get separation in the second half.
And that separation, we talked about the Peyton Pritchard 3 right at the end of the third quarter. But Boston had, I think, a 9 or a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter as well. Boston just has a few more places to go to get baskets, right? Dallas has good players. P.J. Washington's a good player, right? They've got guys who can score. Boston has more guys who can probably go and get you 25 or so. Because it's not just, look, they didn't get good offensive performances out of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum last night, and they still won the game. Of course, Tatum did have nearly had a triple-double. I think he had 9 rebounds and 12 assists. And here's Tatum on just figuring out a way to help.
It has a lot to do with that. I've been here before, and we didn't win. And it's just like, we're so close to what we're trying to accomplish. Why would I let my ego or feel my need to score all the points get in the way of that? There are going to be times where, I need to score, and obviously I need to shoot better. Golly. But really, we always talk about do whatever it takes for however long it takes. And if I need to have 16 potential assists every single night, and that's what puts us in the best position to win, and it doesn't mean I'm the leading scorer, by all means. And, if that gives us the best chance to win, sign me up.
It's really, that's all they ask, right? Who cares who scores the points? Like, it really shouldn't matter. Defensively, Boston did, again, whatever it takes. They forced Luka Doncic into 8 turnovers. That's a big part of the game last night. Kyrie Irving didn't shoot very well. I'll get back to that in a second. But late in the game, in a 5-point game, Dallas is going down for a layup to make it a 3-point game. And there's a chase down block by Derek White, who also had a big game shooting the basketball last night. Of course, Jason Kidd had another view of the clean chase down block.
Jason, what was your interpretation of the fast break with PJ that led to the block by Derek White there at the end?
My interpretation, it looked like a foul, but it wasn't called, so it wasn't a foul.
It was a foul. It just wasn't called. It ain't the first time that's happened, but Jaylen Brown definitely did push P.J. Washington in the lower back. But the shot was also blocked by Derek White and Jaylen Brown. They both blocked it. Here's what it is. Better team won the game. Flat out, no argument from anybody. Better team won the game. Game 3 is like in 3 days. It's Tuesday? Wednesday, I think, is game 3.
Yes, I think so.
What are we doing?
I know.
We're playing a game
so
every 3 days in the NBA Finals?
I know.
All right. Stanley Cup will take a 2-day break for travel to Edmonton after tonight's Game 2. We'll get to that in a second. It is Danny Hurley Day. Mentioned that earlier. Here's Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN with the latest.
I spoke with UConn coach Dan Hurley a short time ago. He tells me that he's going to make a decision on whether he's going to return to UConn to pursue a three-peat as an NCAA champion, or accept what I'm told is a massive long-term offer to become coach of the LA Lakers by Monday. That this is a decision he expects to sleep on tonight. He spent Friday in Los Angeles with Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss of the Lakers. He told me that they laid out a compelling case, a compelling vision for him as Lakers head coach, but he loves what he has at UConn, and he has spent today, and he'll certainly spend tonight, mulling that decision.
Well, he also spent Saturday night at the Billy Joel concert. We saw like one of his assistant coaches was with him, and I think they they Instagrammed just a picture of Danny Hurley and his wife enjoying Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden. By the way, we won't belabor this point at all. According to Brian Woodenhurst, the only other person who's been interviewed, so it isn't J.J. Redick, is James Borrego, former Charlotte Hornets head coach. It is U.S. Open week. We'll be down there on Wednesday. Scotty Scheffler tuned up by winning another PGA Tour event. I mean, at this point, it's yawn.
Is anyone surprised?
It's just a yawn. That was a fun event. It wasn't easy. I think Scheffler was over par for his final round. That's like the third over par round he has shot this entire season. It is insane how good Scotty Scheffler is at this point. I'm going to look it up. And I don't think he is even money, but he should be. Pinehurst number 2, and we're going to talk to Curtis Strange later on, former two-time U.S. Open champion. We're going to talk to Curtis about Scotty Scheffler later. Scotty Scheffler hits his ball hole high, which means the proper distance, more than any other player on tour. And that is the number one factor this week at Pinehurst. Do you hit your approach shots flag high? The person who does that the most will win the U.S. Open. Scotty does that more than any other player on tour. All right, to hockey. Game 2 is tonight. Florida's coming off a 3-0 Game 1 win. I know you watched, Victoria.
I did.
This was it was a weird game, I thought. First of all, I thought for the first 40 minutes, Edmonton was the better team.
Oh, yeah.
And if it were not for Sergei Bobrovsky, who stopped, I don't know.
Everything.
2 breakaways, 3 breakaways, every close-in opportunity.
Someone sneezes, he blocks that too.
Florida did not have many scoring chances, but they cashed in the 2 they needed. One was a defensive breakdown. The other was a giveaway. So, I mean, the Oilers kind of made their own bed. Mm-hmm. And Stuart Skinner, I don't fault him on either goal.
Nurse, that second one, Nurse completely did not block the puck. It just went past him. He was like, oh, we're playing a sport? Oh, there's the puck.
Cody Ceci lost the battle to the puck. And Darnell Nurse was just watching Cody Ceci lose the battle to the puck. I'm like, you've got a job to do too.
Right.
We're not all just watching the Stanley Cup Finals.
The game.
Right. So, but it was really a Sergei Bobrovsky. And then the third period, the Panthers just put on a defensive clinic. They're the best team defensively in the NHL. They were all season long. And they were
And the
dynamite.
Oilers, they couldn't score on the power play once, at all. So for me, if you take away their power play abilities, it's not going to be a long series.
What have we talked about with Edmonton over the course of the playoffs? Power play, it's like they were coming in almost 40% on the power play. Mm-hmm. But it's still really just offensively, it's 4 guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman. Bouchard, a little bit of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but ultimately that's where their goals are coming from. And if they don't get goals from the power play and from that line,
they're done.
They just don't have the depth. Florida's a deeper team, and Florida's got better goaltending. And Greg Wyshynski from ESPN on Connor McDavid.
I almost feel like he gets a hall pass. I almost feel like there's this notion of he is brilliant. He wins MVP awards. Whatever happens in this series will not be because of him, because the only reason they're there is because of him. And I've always felt that there's, for whatever reason, less heat on McDavid and more heat, say, on the organization not building a proper championship team around him. So I kind of feel like he's a little bit Teflon.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but at some point he's going to have to win a Stanley Cup. right?
Yeah.
I mean, every great player bears that responsibility. So, but I agree. I mean, the team in and of itself is just okay, but that's how good Connor McDavid is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens in Game 2 tonight.
Yay!
All right, when we come back, I will ask this question. I'll answer it too right before the break. Caitlin Clark, who was left off the USA Women's Olympic basketball team, this has been termed a snub. Okay. We're going to talk to Christine Brennan about it. She wrote a great piece on USA Today saying that basically, yes, it was a snub. It was a bad decision by USA Basketball. And I'm not moved by her exclusion from the team because I looked at the team and I can't figure out who comes off the team to make room for Caitlin Clark. Is it possible she's just not one of the 12 best players in women's basketball right now? I think the answer to that is, yeah, it's possible. We'll talk to Christine Brennan from USA Today about this next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
99.9 The Fan and Arise Urology Clinic present Men's Health Month. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, a greater risk of stroke, and increased risk of erectile dysfunction. Start your winning streak now and commit to quit. You'll fix your organs, get your looks back, and end the smoker's cough. The long-term benefits lower the chance of death and decrease your danger to your body for your future. Men's Health Month is powered by Arise. Call Arise Urology Clinic for Men at 919-964-3750 or visit CoreWaveTherapy.com.
Okay, let me tell you about one of my absolute favorite hangout spots. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker, and Norse Brewing Company in Wake Forest is a place you need to check out. There's also Norse Brewing Longhouse in Zebulon, which is just as amazing, but both locations offer mouth-watering Southern food, but with a Scandinavian twist. My personal favorite is the Loaded Beer Cheese Tots with in-house made seltzers. Yes, they make all of their adult beverages in-house right in front of you. Speaking of the setup, you'll be completely immersed in the Viking vibes with the handmade axe door handles, the wooden interior, the calm lighting. And with the weather getting warmer, there's plenty of space to enjoy this one-of-a-kind menu outside. Whether it's brunch, lunch, dinner, or a nightcap, Norse Brewing Company is a place you'll want to visit, and you can bring your pups too. Bring everyone out for trivia night, one of their markets, or you could even plan your next big event there. You can find out all the information about this amazing spot and upcoming events at norsebrewingco.com.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. There are people in this world that I respect, and there is nobody who is higher on that list than Christine Brennan of USA Today, esteemed columnist, friend, and somebody who covers everything. And I couldn't believe it when I disagreed with her. One of her last columns about Caitlin Clark, but hey, there are firsts for everything. But before we get to Caitlin Clark, and I don't think you're necessarily the way you phrase it in your column, I don't know that you're necessarily wrong. I do want to get your thoughts on the passing of Frank Carroll, because I know you cover figure skating better than anybody on earth, and this is a major blow to USA figure skating. So real quick on that before we get to Caitlin Clark.
Sure, Adam. Well, great to be on with you. Always love being on your show. Absolutely great conversation. And every now and then we make news, as we recall from many years ago, which got ridiculous, but that's okay. We'll keep people in suspense. All's well, 15 years, 20 years later, whatever. But Frank Carroll was wonderful. Died of cancer, about a 1.5 year long battle, 85 years old, almost 86. Michelle Kwan's coach, Timothy Gable's coach, Linda Fradiani, Evan Lysacek. He won the Olympic gold medal in 2010 in Vancouver. So Frank got the gold there, but mostly, known for Michelle and so many others. Witty, fun, great sense of humor. You'd see him and there'd be 20 journalists in the heyday of the sport around Tanya Nancy, and afterwards there would be 20 journalists gathered around. We'd be enjoying his stories, laughing. One comes to mind. It was the 1998 Olympic year, huge, crucial. He's coaching Michelle Kwan, who won the silver. Tara Lipinski won the gold. That was a disappointment for Michelle. But leading into that year, he was talking about trying to help Michelle, who at that time is she's 17 years old. So, we're just fun conversation. What are you doing to help Michelle? And he goes, well, I'm thinking about a lobotomy. And with that, the reporter, might have been me, said, for you or for her? And he said, both of us, I want to go in on a group rate. And, we laughed. Of course, he's joking, moves on. Just lovely, wonderful coach, great legend for decades, helping young people get better on the ice, and just one of the loveliest, classiest people you could ever want to know. So may he rest in peace, Frank Carroll. But what a life he lived.
No question about it. One of the giants of figure skating. All right, now to our disagreement. And again, I think from the angle your column takes, I certainly understand the point. Leaving Caitlin Clark off Olympic team, USA basketball airballs on huge opportunity, because you're talking about the fact that they have clamored for years about a lack of coverage. And this would have been an opportunity to, guarantee coverage because of the amount of attention placed on Caitlin Clark. But my only counter to that is she really one of the 12 best, or more, accurately, one of the 6 best guards or 7 best guards available to Team USA? Because she probably wasn't going to play even if she made the team.
Well, play a little bit, because they win most games by 30, 40, 50 points. Right. So everyone would get in. let me throw some WNBA statistics at you, Adam Gold. This will be a first for you and me.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
Just checked. WNBA assists. You know who's fourth in the entire league in assists in the WNBA in her first month?
Right.
Number 22 for the Indiana Fever. Diana Taurasi, I don't even see her name on the list. I got to keep going down.
Right.
Caitlin, by the way, Caitlin Clark is also ahead on assists of Jewel Lloyd, who's made the team, Jackie Young, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kelsey Plum. She's ahead of all of them on the list of assists, which you could say is a very, very important stat for a point guard. She is number 2 in the league in three-pointers made. Threes are huge in international basketball, as you know. She's ahead of Diana Taurasi on that. Diana's getting that going-away gift of another Olympics. Again, one of the greats of all time, but 42 years old. You know, where's the future there? And, of course, Diana, from the college ranks, was put on the team, as was Rebecca Lobo, as was Christian Laettner, as, of course, your listeners will remember. This is an homage to college, is what the USAB basketball often does. Points per game. Caitlin is ahead of Taurasi. She's on the list. And this is, by the way, getting blitzed. And statistically, not from me, not from you, but statistics in the WNBA, the person who's getting the hardest, strongest defense in the entire league, not any of those other Olympians I just mentioned, Caitlin Clark, 22. And there's this, I think there's this sense out there, Adam, that she's not played well.
No, she's played very well.
She's played great, but if you're asking about merit, I just gave you stats. She's obviously more turnovers, but as we know, Indiana, those players are just getting used to her. And so on merit, on the stats, how can you argue with what I just told you?
Right. I mean, I think stats can. What is the phrase? Lies, damn lies, and statistics. I think she's played very well, and I run the risk of arguing against Caitlin Clark. I'm more arguing that this is a longer process than just this year, than just the beginning of this season. The Christian Laettner example, like that was the first year that they went to, professionals for the men's team, and they had no choice. It was mandated that they would take one college player, but they haven't done that since. They haven't put on an Olympic roster. They haven't put a college player on the Olympic roster since.
Sure they have. Brianna Stewart. Yeah.
No, I was just talking about the men's side. But
you
yes,
didn't use that adjective "men's," now did you?
You're right, but I was talking about the men.
No, but that's at the heart of this very issue. Are men's and women's basketball equal? Are they getting the same money?
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not. No.
So does women's basketball need the leg up? I just gave you the merit, right? I just gave you the stats that, since it's subjective, right? You can pick 12. You can pick. Right. I just gave you the stats that tell you she's playing better in some statistical categories, statistics, apples, oranges, apples, whatever, than Taurasi. That is an argument that I just made for you. Now let's take it to the way bigger issue of growing the game, which is desperately needed by U.S. women's basketball. And how do I know this? Because I've been, as you know, to 10 Summer Olympic Games. I have been often one of the very few journalists watching in the press tribune just tumbleweeds in the press tribune. Take my word for it. Yep. I was there for at least, I've counted 5 gold medal games, U.S. gold medal. This is the greatest team in the world, as you know, Adam, men's or women's, any sport. The most dominant, they last lost in 1992.
7 in a row.
I cannot tell you the number of male sports writer friends of mine who, when I've said I'm heading over to cover the gold medal game of the women, they've smirked, they've laughed. I said, you want to come? Oh, no, never. Caitlin Clark, and this is the absolute swing and a miss, whiff of all times, why I call it the worst decision I've ever seen by a U.S. Olympic NGB team or player selection. Obviously, terrible things have happened in NGBs, not that. But is that you put Caitlin Clark on that team, and every one of those misogynistic, sexist men, whoever they are out there, has to come running to cover the team. And what happens when you cover Caitlin Clark? You're writing about Brianna Stewart. You're writing about Alyssa Thomas. You are now focusing on Sabrina Ionescu and Jewel Lloyd. And they're getting the most attention they've ever gotten in their careers because of the spotlight that's being shown. All that is now gone. How is that good?
Christine Brennan of USA Today is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. How is it? I understand your point, and I want to. I'm kind of threading a needle here because I do get the point of wanting more coverage. Right? It's clear that they didn't, as an organization, they didn't care about that, or maybe there was something else at work. But again, I just go back because I was listening to Rebecca Lobo on television talk about that this morning, that this is a process that goes a lot longer. And I said the same thing on Twitter over the weekend. Who comes off of that team? First of all, Chelsea Gray, who was not only was the best point guard in the WNBA last year, is on the team, has not played this year. My guess is that if Chelsea Gray can't answer the bell, that Caitlin Clark would probably be the selection in her place, which would be good to get her on the team that way. But I just don't know who comes off that team otherwise.
Well, Diana Taurasi. I mean, Taurasi's one of the greats of all time. Don't get me wrong.
And she's still great.
She's still great, but I just gave you the stats.
Right, but that doesn't mean she's necessarily she's not a better player.
Oh no, but it's subjective, right? So there's a million ways you can look at it, but you cannot dismiss Caitlin Clark's statistical advantage over Diana Taurasi. Why are we going, since the women are not making exactly the same salary as the NBA players, right. LOL, since the decimal points are 2 or 3 different places for the TV contract for the women versus the men, and we know what Caitlin Clark is bringing, attendance, right. Why on earth, just throwing it out there, since you asked who, right?
Right.
Are we sending Diana Taurasi for her going away present? That's what it is. Let's just be honest. That's what it is, Adam.
You don't think she's gonna? You don't think she's gonna be a featured player?
Oh, I think she will be. What I'm saying is that you don't have. You asked me a question. I am answering your question. I have given you now merit. Again, Diana's not getting the coverage that Caitlin is. Being blitzed. Right. So arguably, take away the blitzes. And Caitlin's even better, and her stats are already better than Diana, since you've asked. So that's what I would do. And people would be mad, but the vast majority of fans would love it, because what I think we're seeing is a very insular sport, and I'm going to continue to report this, that just doesn't know what to do with the greatest thing that's ever happened in women's sports. And it's just stunning and interesting, and as a journalist, I am on it. And I'll give you this example. I just tweeted this out a little bit ago. ABC, who I work for, I was on Good Morning America. Producer told me this last night. Cheryl Reeves, the head coach of the Olympic team, May 3rd, she's also the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. May 3rd, 2024, the WNBA puts out a tweet talking about Indiana against Dallas, first preseason matchup of the year. They don't even mention Caitlin Clark, but her picture is there with Aaliyah Boston and a couple other players. So that's the promotion, obviously. Cheryl Reeve, Minnesota was playing Chicago that night, and for astute WNBA watchers, a fan in the stands live tweeted it, video, because it wasn't being shown on TV.
Right.
And that's the reason Cheryl Reeve is tweeting about, hey, Lynx fans, you can go to the app, whatever. The head coach of the Olympic team, the one who's supposed to be making these decisions with, fairly, honestly, blindly, right, helping with the committee, has this hashtag, the W, meaning the WNBA. The W is more than one player. What on earth was the head coach of the Olympic team doing? And doesn't that reveal to you, it's obviously a shot, something, a reference to Caitlin.
No question about it. So
is that good? Are you happy with that as your Olympic coach doing that? Do you think she maybe didn't pick her for that reason?
It's very possible. Like, one of the things that I think we all have to acknowledge is that it's possible that the coach and maybe some of the players, because I don't know if they have any input at all into the roster, decided that they didn't want her there. It's clear, but based on the amount of attention that Caitlin Clark has received, defensive and physical attention, that there is some animosity among players. I talked about this last week, that there is an element of jealousy at work here, that because Angel Reese said the quiet part out loud when she says, she's not the only reason that people come to watch. People come to watch me too. And I agree with Angel Reese.
Oh my goodness. Yes, but it is minuscule compared.
Right.
You saw the attendance in D.C.
It's certainly not
10,000 on
even.
Thursday.
Right. It's not even. I'm not.
Right. But here, Adam, I love you, but you do realize the magnitude of the missed opportunity now, right?
No, I understand your point. But I just think that they don't care.
Yes, well, that is a news story, is it not? To grow your game, and they don't care. And now you are right in my wheelhouse of why I'm continuing to report the story. If you are correct, that is one heck of a news story that's going to go all the way through Paris. Because they're going to be asked about Caitlin Clark all the time. Right. So the lack of leadership here. I broke the story at midnight on Friday. So we are talking, 48, 60 hours
I can't add.
No, I just did. I have slept for a few of those hours. 60 hours ago, USA Basketball, silence. U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, silence. I've been emailing, texting, asking. And yet Caitlin Clark, who of course is going to be the winner in all of this, the sympathy, and you saw her response.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone listening to you right now who has a daughter, a son, by the way, Caitlin's always talking about the boys that she's signing the 22 jerseys and the autographs. Everyone listening, probably including you, son, daughter, niece, nephew, granddaughter, grandson, girl next door neighbor, boy next door neighbor, would love to meet Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
You put her on the Olympic team. Can you imagine how many USA 22 jerseys would have been sold that could have gone into youth sports programs around the country that will now not be sold? Can you imagine the girls in Africa and Europe who would have tuned in because of this Caitlin Clark kid? I had a British writer come to me at the Masters and say, tell me all about her. I can't wait to cover her at the Olympics. Gone. New Zealand radio is coming up in an hour and a half here for me. New Zealand. I said, you really? He goes, we are furious. And my mum, he said, is furious. New Zealand. You can't look at this through the male eyes. And I know you're a good guy. You cannot. Women's sports need this desperately. Why does the NHL stop to go play in the Winter Olympics?
Money.
The platform.
Yeah.
And because you can make the argument merit-wise, she's been great. And because you can make the argument college-wise, Brianna Stewart 8 years ago, among the others that we talked about, what on earth is going on?
That's why you're the best, Christine Brennan. No, seriously. I mean, I think there are good arguments to be made in many different ways. Your argument based on attention can't be beat. So I understand that. We have to go, but
let's keep it going. There'll be more on this. Trust me.
No question about it. No question about it. Nobody's complaining that LeBron's on the men's team.
How much? I think let's look at the salaries again. Right, but that tells you, right? There must be something. There's the undercurrent, and we saw it at the Final Four with Diana Taurasi and with Brianna Stewart. I wrote about it. Folks can see it. There's no paywall. USA Today. You can read my April column about all that, the frostiness, the chilliness. Mm-hmm. And I've been on this since February. I'm staying on it. I could tell then something was up. That's one of the reasons I was able to break it, because a source came through for me looking at the list at midnight, Friday to Saturday. But again, just stunning for a player that is nothing but magic, the high wire act at the circus, who is just, and also the greatest role model I finally met her, unbelievable in person. So anyway, but yeah, NGBs are going to NGB. And the last amateurs left in the Olympics are the people running them, as we've known for many years.
That was the end of your column as I read it yesterday. Christine Brennan, USA Today. I thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Always great, really fun. Thanks, and thanks to your listeners.
You got it. Christine Brennan here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, one timer. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. They are here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la
No.
mode? Oh, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed our conversation with Christine Brennan. Even though we disagree on it, I enjoyed the conversation. It'll be up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
In a matter of moments.
She's super fun.
Oh, my gosh. I've known Christine for so long. All right, well, I just made myself old. She's still young. Let's one time it. All right.
Okay, so let's start with NBA stuff. Now, I believe, had you picked the Mavs?
I did.
Okay, so has your
Dallas
opinion...
in 6.
Right, that's what I thought. Now, has your opinion
Doesn't
changed at all?
Doesn't look good.
After watching the last 2 games, do you still feel like they could come back?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, you got to, they have to play better. They need Kyrie Irving to play better. And they need to find a third reliable offensive source.
Yeah.
They do that. Win game 3.
Yeah.
Get right back in it. Plus, wait till Boston's.
True. That could always happen. Very true. So, moving on to game 2 tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm so excited. So, in your opinion, what do you think the Oilers need to do tonight differently to win, if anything?
Honestly, if you're Edmonton, and I mean this sincerely, play the exact same game you just played. I find it hard to believe that if you play especially the first 2 periods like you played on Saturday night, you play those first 2 periods, you'll be ahead, and it's a completely different game. So I think if you're Edmonton, you played a pretty good game. Speaking of hockey, the latest on Marty Natchez and company next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Everyone and everything is trying to become more streamlined, more efficient. Why not you? Why haven't you done this? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and your chance to streamline your day-to-day. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of everything involved. The lenses, the cleaning, the trips to the store, the replacement lenses, the glasses that you probably can't find, and the cost that comes with them. So how about we hit up Travers LASIK? Let Dr. Lori Travers work her magic on you, 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day if that's a selling point. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off. 0% financing for qualified customers is available. And if you're not sure if you can afford it, just go to TraversLASIK.com. Check out their affordability calculator. Hey, the consultation is free. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. Travers LASIK.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want. A combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month, rebates up to $8,000, plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3, only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
Rise and shine, honey. We don't want to miss our flight. Our flight is in 7 hours. And we have TSA PreCheck with our Navy Federal flagship credit card.
TSA PreCheck? Getting my bugle through security will be so much easier now.
Learn how you can earn up to 3 times points on travel with the flagship credit card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
First pitch, Honeycutt, long fly, deep left. He's led off 6 times with a home run. He's gone back-to-back last night and tonight. Carolina leads 1-0 on the first pitch of the ball game. Boom goes Honeycutt, and Carolina leads 1-0. It's Harbor getting to it, underhanding to Pence. He wins the race to first base, and Carolina wins the game. 2-1 our final score. The dream is alive. The destination is secure. Carolina is going to Omaha. The Tar Heels will play in the College World Series.
Friend of the program, Dave Nathan. Good weekend for the Tar Heels. Also Virginia, great weekend. Florida State, great weekend. NC State can wrap up and make it a great weekend for the Wolfpack today in Athens against Georgia. Wild, crazy game between Clemson and Florida. Gators end up sweeping that series and advancing to the College World Series like for the 9th time in the last 14 years. Something silly like that. But crazy game with a stupid ejection of not only Clemson's head coach, but their former head coach who's acting as an assistant to the current head coach. And they were both ejected when the coaches protested what looked like an ejection for a guy who just hit a home run and slammed his bat to the ground. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But within that, we saw a mammoth home run to bring Clemson back from 9-6 down to 9-9 and force extra innings. And the same guy made one of the greatest catches I have ever seen. A center fielder going back on the ball that was sort of tailing away from him. He turned the wrong way, and it was just a running basket catch slamming into the wall. It's an amazing catch. One of the best plays I've ever seen on a baseball field, pro or college. Anyway, so we'll be waiting to see what the Wolfpack do tonight against Georgia. If NC State wins, half of the 8 teams in the College World Series come from the ACC, and the other half from the SEC. No other conferences need apply.
Nope. That's it.
We had both Oregon schools were in there as the Pac-12 has then been laid to rest. They're done. Although we still have the NCAA, although I guess that might have wrapped up over the weekend. I watched the NCAA track and field championships. It was incredible, incredible television. The Olympic trials are coming up in a couple of weeks. All right, let me just. We talked about the Stanley Cup Finals, and we'll talk more about that. We have Game 2 tonight. But just give everybody an update on where we are with the Carolina Hurricanes, shall we? Since there's a lot of moving parts as to what Carolina does as we head into the draft, which is a few weeks away, and free agency, which unrestricted free agency starts July 1. And we're going to start seeing a lot of restricted free agents sign soon. I'm not talking about just Carolina, but across the league. We're going to see a bunch of stuff happen. We also might see the Hurricanes trade the negotiating rights prior to July 1 for Jake Gensel. Right? That's going to happen. Not that the Hurricanes don't believe they can sign Jake Gensel, but let's be honest. When you are 30 years old and this is your first real shot at really making bank, the Hurricanes offering, I think, less than what the market will offer, you owe it to yourself to see what that number can go to. That doesn't mean that Jake Gensel will never, that he won't consider Carolina. I'm sure Carolina knows where they would like to be with Gensel, and this is what we're thinking about. But if Jake wants to explore and go to July 1, which we always thought he would, then if you're Carolina, you don't mind giving up the negotiating rights to another team for, I don't know, 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick. That's what I think it would cost. And if that happens, then you get something out of it, and who knows? Maybe ultimately Gensel isn't blown away by the offer he gets, and he comes back to Carolina on a deal that the Hurricanes feel is fair, but it would ultimately be below market value. My guess is that they don't want to go beyond 9 for Gensel, and I promise you that when Gensel gets to free agency, that number will be above 9 and significantly above 9. It might be 10.5 because he is the best goal scorer on the open market. In the right situation, he could be a 40-goal scorer again, and those guys get paid. I get it. So it wouldn't bother me if Jake Gensel took a huge deal. I know the Chicago Blackhawks have been talked about. Wouldn't shock me a bit to see Jake Gensel have his rights traded to Chicago for a 3rd or a 4th round pick, and then he signed an 8-year deal, 10.5, maybe even $11 million for a guy to score 40 goals and play next to Connor Bedard. Wouldn't be shocked at all.
No.
If that happened.
But that would also be their whole team.
Pretty much. But you get Bedard for at least 2 more years at cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go about the business of preparing your team for 2 of those salaries, like Edmonton has, and then see if you can go about the business of building your team around. And you might be able to, because you're basically getting Bedard for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to win sooner as well as later. So I get it. San Jose is another team that I've heard interested. Now, they're way far away of winning.
Yeah,
but
very.
And they don't have anybody who's going to make the money Bedard is going to make. But we'll see what is out there, but I fully expect that to be the case. Now, 2 things. Let's start with Don Waddell, the general manager who is no longer here. He's in Columbus. So this is the question that has been asked of me by a lot of people. How will this impact Carolina? I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but in my opinion, I don't think it will because of this. Tom Dundon makes all the decisions. He can deny it if he wants. Tom Dundon does the negotiating. Again, he can deny it if he wants. And I don't blame him for trying to separate himself from the public face of contract negotiation. But I have been saying this for a long time. It's so funny to me how Don Waddell took all the arrows from everybody when none of these were really his decisions. That doesn't mean that he's not a part of the decision-making process. It's just these were not his decisions. They belong to Tom Dundon. And I think the most influential voice in the room, not named Rod Brindamore, is Eric Tulsky. Again, I am not criticizing. I am simply stating a point of fact here. And those are between Tom Dundon and Eric Tulsky, they will decide on the value of the players. They will decide on free agents to target. They will decide on trades to try and engineer. The biggest impact of Don Waddell's absence will be how many of these teams will have enough of a relationship with either Eric Tulsky or Tom Dundon or Darren York, who is part of this equation too, albeit he's more on the draft side than Tulsky is. How many teams around the league feel, I'll just use the word comfortable, but I'm not, it's not like, buddy. Don was the contact point. Everybody knew Don Waddell around the NHL. The Hurricanes do not employ anybody like that now. We don't have to go back too far to see people not named Don Waddell in Carolina's front office who had contacts around the league, whether it was Rick Dudley, Paul Krapelka. Both of those gentlemen, by the way, work for the Florida Panthers right now. So those guys who were here, I think Dudley only spent 1 year here. I think Paul was here a couple of years. Those guys were here, and now they work for somebody else, arguably the competition. And Carolina, and I've said this before, that's what they need to hire. But that isn't going to be in place until well after everything is done. So the biggest impact to me in Don Waddell's absence is, how does Carolina engineer trades? How, like free agents, look, I've got Tom Dundon's number. You better believe that every agent in the business has Tom Dundon's number. So that's how this is going to, the free agent part of this is much easier. The restricted free agent part of this is much easier. The trade element of this is a little bit more complicated because there is nobody who fills the role of Don Waddell. That doesn't mean it can't happen. Eric Tulsky's not dumb. Tulsky knows these people, but Don Waddell had relationships with these people. That, to me, is the biggest factor. Now, as much as I know people loved Martin Necas, and as much as I would love to see Necas get the most out of his ability here, doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, how do you get the most? How do you make that asset? How do you turn that into the most you can possibly turn it into? To me, Carolina's got two major areas of need. They are a right-handed top six center and a goalie. I don't know that you can turn Necas into two of those things. You can turn him into one of those things and then maybe another piece, depending. Now, could you trade the rights to negotiate with Martin Necas for the rights to negotiate with Elias Lindholm? Yeah, you could. I don't know where, from what I've read, Vancouver has reached a little bit of an impasse with Lindholm as to what they have offered him as opposed to what he wants. And that impasse and the numbers that I have seen, I think I saw 7 times 7. They could offer him 8. Let's just say 8 times 7. I think Carolina's probably below that number. I think they're closer to 6.5 than they are 7. But could you play on the fact that Lindholm always wanted to play for this head coach? Could you play on that? Maybe. I don't know. But the bottom line is, I'm not sure, based on conversations that I have had, if the organization looks at Lindholm the way maybe you and I do. But if you could turn Necas into like a legit goaltending prospect, that might be something. So Nashville's got a decision to make. Nashville has UC Saros. He's one of the best goalies in the league. Didn't have an amazing year, by the way, but is one of the best goalies in the league. He's entering the last year of a contract that pays him $5 million. You could probably get Saros in a deal for Necas. You want something else because you don't just want a goalie for 1 year. You want a goalie for beyond a year. Or do you try to get the prospect that they drafted, 3 years ago? Yaroslav Askarov? He was the best goalie in that draft. And while he's only played a couple of NHL games and didn't have an amazing season in the AHL, I think they were a quick out in the playoffs, he is still a top goalie prospect. Could you get that plus something else from Nashville in exchange for Martin Necas? And that would come down to whether or not the team, the head coach, believed that Pyotr Kochetkov was the real deal. Two things about that. And I go back to the playoffs this year. And I could be dead wrong. But I got the sense that Rod Brind'Amour didn't have full confidence in Kochetkov in the postseason. Because games 3 or 4 against the Islanders, that was the opportunity. And I even talked to Rod about this after game 2. I think I asked him before game 2 about going forward and whatnot, because I asked him if he would start Kochetkov in game 2, and then he said, no, we're going with Freddie. And I said, I'd have to go back and listen to it because I have it in my phone. I said to him, well, you'll probably use him in one of the 2 games in New York. And he just wanted me to shut up about it, or he went, yeah, right, which is fine, whatever. He doesn't have to tell me the truth anyway. But I thought they would use Kochetkov in one of the 2 games in New York, games 3 or 4. They didn't. Freddie closed out the series in 5, and then we finally got to Kochetkov in game 3 of the Rangers series. And frankly, he allowed a goal he shouldn't have allowed. The second goal he should not have allowed. And Carolina ultimately tied it up on the Svechnikov goal late, but then lost in overtime on the Panarin deflection. But I got the sense that he didn't have full trust in Kochetkov. So I don't know if that was a momentary thing or if that is, I just don't think he's the ultimate answer as a number 1. And if that's the case, give yourself more kicks at it. Askarov could be that guy. So if you can turn Necas into a potential number 1 goaltender, by all means, do it. That's where we are with the 3 major things that I think most Hurricanes fans are thinking about. Jake Gensel, I think it's a 5% chance he's back. Don Waddell and the impact, and Martin Necas and what you could turn him into. All right, we'll get to the NBA Finals and what will Dan Hurley do? Gary Parrish, CBSSports.com, next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Golf's 3rd major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the U.S. Open from Pinehurst. Find out if Wyndham Clark can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the championship trophy. Coverage of the U.S. Open on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is the retirement planning specialist. So if you are thinking about retirement, you need to call Coach Pete, 888-843-0013. That's 888-843-0013. If you don't want to talk to a human being, just text my name, Adam, to 600-700. Same difference. We're going to get you in front of Coach Pete so he can help you plan for your retirement because you can't do it for yourself. You need an expert to make sure you have everything you need. You wouldn't perform appendix surgery on yourself, would you? Let Coach Pete help you plan for your retirement. So if you want to go cliff diving in Acapulco, I don't know why you'd want to do that, 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. Call 888-843-0013 and get free stuff, a total customized retirement plan for you for free. But call today.
free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait, grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hank Bauer, Chairman, ABC Commission. And we're here to talk about Talk It Out NC.
Part of this program, there's situations that show the kids how to get out of these situations, because peer pressure is a big thing at this age.
Sure.
So if someone's pressuring an 8th grader, hey, have this drink, we're drinking, have a drink. We have programs where it's set up that they can text their parents an X, and that's the red light. Hey, call me, tell me it's time to come home, come get me. So there are a lot of great things as far as Talk It Out.
The website, talkitoutnc.org.
This is Adam Gold.
It was crazy, too. After the first period, the shots on goal, the Maple Leafs goalie didn't even have to do anything most of the game.
Yeah, Joseph Wall was bored.
Yes.
In the first period.
He was knitting a sweater at one point. I mean,
lovely. A lovely sweater.
He was making syrup. I mean, it was weird.
The Adam Gold Show.
Nothing quite like natural maple syrup, too. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. It's delicious.
Much better than, it's not even Mrs. Butterworth's anymore.
No.
They've changed the name.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's way better than that. All right, the NBA Finals are 2 games in. Dallas is 2-0 in arrears. But I want to start with somebody who's not even in the NBA just yet. And we bring in Gary Parrish, CBSSports.com, Eye on College Basketball podcast, Grind City Media. I hope a Mets fan. Hey, we won a game yesterday, Gary. We had to go to London to do it, but we won a game yesterday.
That was nice. I was actually at my little guy's baseball tournament all day, so I was sort of following on the phone and then got real frustrated. See, down in the ninth, again, it looked like we're coming home with another loss, and then obviously what happened. So it was a stressful ending of the game, but at this point, you take any Mets win however you can get it.
Anything we can get. All right, let me start with Danny Hurley. And we can get into whether or not it would be bad or not for the college basketball universe. But what are your thoughts on Danny Hurley leaving UConn to go to the Los Angeles Lakers if that's the decision he makes?
I'll understand it because, obvious reasons. It's a lot of money. It's Southern California. It's coaching perhaps the most glamorous and prestigious franchise in American sports. It's coaching presumably one of, if not the greatest basketball player of all time. That's a lot to turn down. And yet, as we sit here awaiting a decision, really any minute, most people do seem to think, and it's just guessing, nobody's reporting it, that he is going to turn this down. Mm-hmm. And I should say, I understand that as well. as I've said many times over the years, in recent years, when I was younger, having this same type of job, I was much more sure that I knew what everybody should always do when it came to their career choices and life choices. But as you get older, you realize, as you start making your own life choices and career choices, that, the money's not always the most important thing, and the glamour is not always the most important thing, and the biggest market's not always the important thing, and what matters to me might not matter to you, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've tried to stop short of, man, Dan Hurley would be crazy if he didn't take the Lakers job, or even Dan Hurley would be crazy if he left UConn. I don't think any of it's crazy. This is a situation where a man is presented with two incredible opportunities, and either one of them is probably more than he ever thought he would ever be able to pick for a job. But, if he picks UConn, I can understand it. And the rationalization you'll probably hear is that, he didn't want to walk away from the opportunity, not the guarantee, but the chance to be the first three-peat coach since John Wooden in men's college basketball. Didn't want to walk away from a preseason top 5 team. Didn't want to relocate his family all the way to the other side of the country. And I think the rationalization, if he does turn it down, will be, I'll never get this opportunity with UConn again, but I will get an opportunity to coach in the NBA again, probably closer to my Jersey roots, and maybe we'll look at that down the line. But for now, we're going to continue to do what we're doing. That's where it seems to be sitting in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, even though we'd all go, man, how do you turn down, because I think you were sort of alluding to it, it's the best coaching job in basketball. Not all NBA jobs are better than college jobs, but that one is, right? Especially if there's a commitment, a financial commitment that has been thrown around like 15 years because they want the program that he has at UConn to be folded into a professional environment. And look, if they want to look at it in those terms, then I would understand anybody being attracted to that. But my questions when I heard that Hurley was, and we're talking with Gary Parrish of CBS Sports here, my question was, does Danny's mentality, does his energy, does that work in the NBA? The X's and O's probably isn't a problem, but can he get the NBA, the professional player, to buy into him? Can he deal with 82 games, night in and night out, and all of that travel? All of those factors, to me, are difficult to imagine almost.
The basketball stuff would be no problem. He's a brilliant basketball mind. He's an incredible basketball coach. He can coach professional basketball players. That's not an issue. The issue will be his demeanor. The stomping and the yelling and the losing your mind pretty consistently just doesn't play in the NBA. And on one hand, Dan is smart enough to know that. Like if you had a conversation with him, he would tell you, I know I can't be on the sidelines or in the huddles the way that I am at UConn in the NBA. He knows that. The issue becomes, okay, just knowing it isn't enough, though. Can you act on it? For instance, and perhaps this is a bad comparison, but I am easily agitated in life, just by little things that don't matter. The whole don't sweat the small stuff, like I'm sure that's a truth, but I've never been able to accomplish it.
Right.
So here's my point. Let's say I'm getting in a car for 2 hours with my little kids. And I go, hey, all right, no matter what happens, I'm not going to get frustrated. It's just, we're going to turn on the radio. Everything's fine. No matter what happens, I'm not going to get frustrated because I know it does no good. It'll just escalate the issue.
Right.
I can know that. I can tell myself that. But when my little guys are in the back seat and they're starting to, just mess with each other, I can't stop myself from going, please stop touching each other. I know I just need to ignore it. Don't react to it. But when you're in the moment, if you're conditioned to react to it, it's hard not to. So that would be my concern with Danny in the NBA. It wouldn't make it impossible for him to be successful. In fact, I would bet on him being successful. But that is an obvious place where he would have to change his approach. And I've heard some people say over the past few days, well, yeah, he knows that. Well, just knowing it, and this is my point, isn't always enough. You've got to be able to act on it. And that, I don't mean to be off the cuff here or silly, but like people go to therapy to learn how to react to things. It's not just like you can snap your fingers and just, I'm not going to do this anymore starting now. That's not as easy as it sounds.
I totally agree. And we've all had the I'm going to turn this car around type of a moment before. Yeah, I totally get it. Gary Parrish, CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, let me get first of all, the bigger picture thing. My thought on Danny Hurley, if he were to take the Lakers job, and all of the this would be a sad day for college basketball. Well, sure it would. You're losing one of the best coaches, if not the best current coach in the sport. But you wouldn't be losing him to the Atlanta Hawks. You would be losing him to the Lakers. I think that kind of takes away all of the college basketball is doomed, because that is simply one of the best jobs on earth. So to me, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
It would be a big deal at UConn.
Right.
It would not be a big deal anywhere else. It would not doom the Big East. It would not doom college basketball. Anytime something like this happens, people like to use it as a declaration about the state of things in college athletics. And obviously college athletics has changed dramatically over the years, and it's not the easiest place to work these days relative to what it used to be. But, we lost Rick Pitino from college basketball once upon a time, and John Calipari and Billy Donovan, and, it always impacts UMass or Kentucky or Florida, but it doesn't really change the sport at all. We had a face of the sport before Dan Hurley existed. We'll have one if he leaves, and, you'll look up and the arenas will look exactly the same. The television ratings will look exactly the same. People have been talking about the demise or death of college basketball for a long, long time. And the truth is, we can go through phases where we get Zion Williamson in college, or we don't get LeBron James in college. And the truth is, if you look at arenas, ticket sales, television ratings, nothing has ever really fallen off in any sort of dramatic way. It would be wonderful if we had Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Kevin Garnett in college basketball.
Sure.
But when we didn't, it didn't negatively impact college basketball at all. And coaches are the same way. I would love for every great coach to stay in college forever, but it's not necessary for college basketball to be successful for that to happen. If this goes down and Dan Hurley does take the Lakers job, which, again, most people do not believe he's going to do, but if he does do it, it will be for the most obvious reasons and for nothing more. It'll be because he decided he'd rather work as a professional coach in Los Angeles with the most glamorous franchise in American sports. It'll be just as simple as that.
And the way you just phrased that made me think that he will not take that job, because that just definitely doesn't sound like Danny Hurley or Dan Hurley. And by the way, a bigger issue for college basketball was Jay Wright leaving for no job. Just Jay Wright deciding that he was done coaching at Villanova. Now let me get your thoughts on the NBA Finals. So Boston has not gotten great offensive performances out of their best players, yet they still lead 2-0. Your thoughts on where this series is, Gary?
Well, you might not have to get great offensive performances from your stars if the other team, can't crack 100.
Right.
And that's what the real issue here is more than anything else. It's that Dallas has two incredible shot creators and shot makers, but that's all they got. They got two. And the problem for them is that Boston has multiple perimeter-oriented defenders that can really make things tough on both Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. So where do you go now to get points? If Kyrie's going to be zipped up and Luka is going to, everything's hard for him, plus he's hobbled, okay, who's creating offense now? And you can't really find the weak link on Boston's team to hunt, or you don't have the personnel to hunt that person. So it's a real matchup problem for Boston. And I think we probably lost sight of the big picture throughout this whole thing when it looked like Boston was just playing with its food, for lack of a better word, throughout some of these playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they won, I think, 64 games in the regular season. They won the East by 14 games. I think at this point, they're now 14-2 in the postseason. So there's something like 78-20 in basketball games this season. they're an elite basketball team that hasn't been thought of that way, largely because they do not have one of the 2 or 3 or 4 best players in the world. Typically, when we think about the great basketball team, they have one of the 2 or 3, like a legitimate MVP candidate. Jason Tatum is great, but he's not that. Jaylen Brown is great, but he's not that. Drew Holiday is great, but he's not that. So I think some people have had a hard time wrapping their heads around the Boston Celtics are awesome, but it's starting to look like that might be the story of this championship team. We might just look up and go, yeah, a lot of people got hurt and it cleared their path. But they were always the best team in the world, and they proved it in these playoffs.
Yeah, I always wonder, and we'll let you go here, I always wonder what would have happened had Philadelphia and Joel Embiid been completely healthy, had Giannis Antetokounmpo been healthy for Milwaukee, had Denver not gotten upset maybe by Minnesota, if that was the opposition on the other side as opposed to Dallas and having to deal with Nikola Jokic. But everybody got hurt in the East. You know, the Knicks were hurt. Even the Pacers were hurt. No Jimmy Butler. So it does seem like it was paved for Boston, but maybe it wouldn't have mattered because Boston is that good. Gary Parrish, CBSSports.com, at Gary Parrish CBS on Twitter, Eye on College Basketball Podcast. You and Matt prepared to go live when Danny Hurley goes back to UConn?
The mics are set up, and we are ready to go just as soon as Woj tweets it.
Hey, thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate your time.
All right, brother. I'll see you. Bye.
You got it. As soon as Woj. Well, it's probably where it's going to happen. Remember last week, we got the Shams bomb was J.J. Redick. What was it? The next day, 2 days later?
Yeah.
It was, nope, it's not J.J. Redick.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Brian Windhurst from ESPN, Redick hasn't been interviewed by the Lakers. The only other interview was James Borrego, former Charlotte Hornets coach. But just to get really quick to the NBA Finals, the fact that Luka has scored fine, right? And if you watch the game last night, Luka's offense hasn't been the problem. His turnovers have not been good. His turnovers have come because, frankly, he's not getting a ton of offensive help. But going into this series, this had to be Luka and Kyrie being everything. Luka's been almost everything, and Kyrie has not. And part of that, and I asked this of Brian Geisinger, I mentioned this at the very beginning, but I didn't kind of explore it. We talked to Brian last week, our Mr. Basketball. I asked him about the impact of Drew Holiday's defense on Kyrie Irving. It's Drew Holiday, it's Jaylen Brown, it's Derek White. They've got 3, as he termed it to me, tier 1 perimeter defenders that are making life difficult for Irving. So if Kyrie can't do it, if he can't be that player who can take over a game, it's going to be really hard for Dallas to win this series. They, more than Boston, who can get away with mediocre offensive games from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and they just did. Because Drew Holiday can go for big numbers. Derek White can absolutely go for big numbers, including his perimeter game. And you can get scoring from Al Horford. And you've got Kristaps Porzingis coming back. And Porzingis didn't play a big role last night, but he was an effective player. They've got more weapons to go to. Dallas, while they got through the West because Derek Lively was great, P.J. Washington was chipping in with big nights, they need a third guy to be not a spot-up shooter. They need a third guy to be an offensive creator, and they don't have it. Now, could that be Tim Hardaway Jr., who didn't get off the bench last night? We'll see what buttons Jason Kidd can push, but they need another option. There's no doubt about that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch, and we will place bets. And I am stunned at a current number that you could get, and I would argue you should be doing this yesterday. when we get to placing bets. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we want you to swing for the fences this Major League Baseball season with FanDuel, because with Dinger Tuesdays, you can turn dingers into dollars all season long. Bet on your favorite player to rip a moonshot. FanDuel will give you $5 in bonus bets for every homer during that game. That's right, home runs just got even better. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS to get in on all the Dinger Tuesday action. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting, because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you in your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, you don't want a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? No, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Coming up later on in the program, actually about a half hour from now, somebody who can win a soccer match and get a share of $1 million. Former North Carolina Courage star, former U.S. women's national team member, a forward, Jessica McDonald, will join us. And she is playing against an old teammate. She and Heather O'Reilly were teammates back in the day on the North Carolina Courage. And they are squaring off tonight, 7 o'clock, at the soccer tournament in Cary for $1 million. We'll find out what Jessica's going to do with her share of the $1 million when they take it to the U.S. women, who, by the way, have the deepest and most decorated coaching staff in the history of anything. You've got Carla Overbeck, who's the head coach, Michelle Akers, who's on the Mount Rushmore of U.S. women's soccer, and Mia Hamm, among other, big-time soccer heads. It's such a good event, and it gets underway tonight. 7 o'clock for the women's championship, and then 8:30 for the men. La Bombonera versus Nani FC. And for those people who are big-time English football fans, if you're a Manchester United fan, then you recognize who Nani is. Played, I think, 8 years at Man U and was a star. And he scored the game-winning goal last night after missing a penalty. Yeah, off the post. All right, let's stretch.
Okay, so here's a couple stories of maybe what you should and shouldn't do with choices, life choices.
Oh, I see. We're going there.
This is completely this one isn't as risky. So this life choice is whether or not to put ketchup on a Kit Kat. So what? I did not come up with this.
On a Kit Kat?
Yes, I did not.
I wasn't getting that. I expected you to say hot dog.
Right, yes.
And you said on a Kit Kat.
Which is a sandwich. But no, I went with Kit Kat because them TikTokers are doing TikTok things, I guess. And that's what's been going viral lately is someone slathering or people slathering ketchup onto Kit Kats. Now, one says, it's dang tasty. The government should make this illegal. I don't know if it's that. This is a quote. I can't imagine it's that good.
It's a TikToker.
Yeah.
Can't.
Another clip. Someone compared it to a chocolate-covered strawberry.
Sure they did.
But saltier and tangier. So they also said it's worth trying, but they wouldn't eat it again. So that really kind of contradicts itself. So then of course, because people do these little crazy whatever things, Kit Kat may try to capitalize on this with Heinz because they're teasing a collab where they posted an image of something called the Kit Ketchup, which is a flavored which is a flavored candy bar that they say is probably a joke, however could turn into being not a joke because as you've listened, if you've heard other seventh inning stories, they've made jokes into real things. So this could actually happen. And I know a bunch of people who love ketchup just like they love ranch.
Are you a ketchup person?
I mean, I'll sometimes put it with French fries, but I don't I actually prefer a good French fry where I don't need ketchup.
That is the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer sweet potato fries.
Ooh, yes, with honey mustard.
Or nothing.
Oh,
just by themselves.
So good.
But I've seen now, I forget which company makes it, ketchup-flavored potato chips. I have not tried them.
Yeah. See,
I've not tried them.
I could see, I guess, where they're going with it because most people put ketchup on their French fries, but I don't need it. I don't need it.
I like vinegar.
Ooh, yeah, salt and vinegar chips are delicious.
Yeah,
have to be in a mood and you can only eat a few of them because then you're going to,
how do you stop? I'm just curious.
When my mouth is raw and it's like, I hate you, please stop.
Do you have a video you can send out?
Right.
This is how you stop eating those? Because I can't.
It's not when you run out of chips in the bag because that's
when
also
the bag's
another
empty. That's how you stop.
That's how you stop. Exactly. Well, that's one life choice you could maybe try to make. Here's another one.
Okay.
Woo! I don't know how these people still got married. So a couple in Utah. Now, the story was back in April, but there's a reason that they're bringing it up now because this story happened in Utah. It was back in April. This couple was planning on getting married, and they had bought a new mattress. I guess they were trying to transport it to their new humble abode before the wedding night. Who knows the backstory, but basically the groom of this story put the mattress in the back of his truck and asked his bride-to-be to weigh it down. So to use herself to keep it down in the back of a truck. This guy was going 50 miles an hour down the road when Lydia, poor Lydia, the bride-to-be, flew off with the mattress. So she ended up she is alive, so it's okay. We can,
She couldn't land on the mattress.
Exactly.
Oh, that's bad.
She did not. She ended up getting some serious road rash, and her arms and legs and face got all scraped up, so perfect before your wedding day. And she also broke 2 of her front teeth. So there's that.
My gosh.
And she still married this man. So despite all of this, she's alive, so that's good. They did have their wedding the next day, even with all of that going on. So the whole reason that this story has come up is because, there's national days of whatever. And recently was National Secure Your Load Day, where it's like, if you're transporting things, be cognizant, use ropes. Like, let's not get too crazy here. So, yeah, she still married him, too. It's,
wow.
Good for you. I guess that's true love. And last but not least, another true love, Ice-T loves iced tea. And it was National Iced Tea Day, or is. And so Raising Cane's, he's working with Raising It, which I have not been to, but we've talked about this.
It came up in a meeting, didn't it?
We talked about this in a meeting. So he loves Raising Cane's. And he loves
it's just a chicken tender.
It is.
It's not like it doesn't make the earth move. I don't need,
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, so Ice-T is trying to endorse National Iced Tea Day. He also has a preference. He said that he loves sweet tea. He does not understand why people like unsweet tea, that some things, quote, should just be sweet. But he was like, I get it if people have health issues and whatnot. So, yes, on National Iced Tea Day, you can go to Raising Cane's if you don't want chicken tenders and get a free iced tea if you like. Yeah, I know. I saw that story and I was like, I gotta bring this one up.
It's a good chicken tender.
Right.
It's fine.
But that's what it is. I've had good frozen chicken tenders, so I don't know. I've never been to Raising Cane's, but apparently I should try it.
It's fine if you like chicken tenders.
Yeah.
My kid loves them because he would eat chicken tenders at every meal.
Right.
But
yeah,
okay,
you don't get it. That's okay.
I don't need recovery time.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Well, maybe we need some recovery time after our bets this weekend.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can own me. I owe you one.
All right. I have no idea what my last wager was. I know I'm in a little bit of a rut, so we got to get out of it. I'm going to get out of it today, though.
Okay. I'm sure that you will. All of mine were fight bets, so you missed those for UFC Louisville. But I went 2 for 3, so it was okay. It wasn't too bad. All ice picks today. All on the ice.
All right.
Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Panthers, Oilers. Give me an anytime goal scorer because he did not in the last game, Carter Verhaeghe, feel like it's his night. So let me go with Carter. He is plus 190.
All right, we're going to start on the cricket oval.
Okay.
All right. I was this close to going United States over Pakistan the other day, and U.S. won in a super over, and they upset Pakistan, who is one of the international powers of cricket, but they're down. It's not a typical Pakistani side. Canada over Pakistan plus 690.
Okay. I did see.
That's tomorrow.
I did see that the U.S. had beaten them, and I almost texted you and was like, look at this.
Oh, that was a huge win.
So the game tonight back on the ice, I think maybe the first period will be the highest scoring period because I do feel like the Oilers are going to come out hot and try to score fast. So plus 400 for the highest scoring period.
Very nice. All right, we're going to just go Edmonton, going to play the same way they played in game one. Edmonton will win. Give me the Oilers and over 5.5 goals plus 297.
Okay, see, that's just like mine. I was gonna do the over-unders, but I didn't want to get too greedy. So I'm just picking the Oilers straight out to win. That's only plus 108, but I'll take it.
All right, and Leon Draisaitl will score a goal tonight. Connor McDavid would be an easy one. He had, I think, 6 shots on goal and didn't score. But Leon Draisaitl, anytime goal scorers plus 175. If you wanted to throw that into the Oilers plus the over, you can jack up your 3-leg parlay all the way to 582, which frankly would be dumb.
Well, yeah.
Just separate it. Don't get greedy.
I know.
You're not going to win all 3 of them.
I like to do the shots on goals too with these sometimes,
right.
But yeah, even then you get disappointed.
All right. Apparently there is a press conference being called for Stores, Connecticut.
Oh.
So if you're going to have the press conference at Stores, then you're probably not going to L.A., right? Probably not doing that. I don't know. That's what that's the buzz that there is a press conference scheduled for Stores, Connecticut. I don't think Danny Hurley is going to tell Connecticut that he's leaving for the Lakers. I think it would go the other way.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month. Rebates up to $8,000 plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats, June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3. Only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
Everyone's trying to become more streamlined these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and this is your chance to become more efficient. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of them. Plus, Travers LASIK is offering $1,000 off right now and 0% financing for qualified customers. Go to TraversLASIK.com. The consultation is free. 919-510-6830. For Travers LASIK.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes. With almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Panthers move it ahead at give and go. Barkov right on the doorstep for Hagee. He scores. Florida on the rush. Gets the first goal of the Stanley Cup final. Into the middle of the ice, room for Sam Bennett, who throws it deep into the Edmonton zone. Got it back in front. Rodriguez scores. What an individual effort by Bennett, who tracked down his own dump in and then put it right on the tape for Rodriguez in front. Luosterainen fires it into the empty net and puts the finishing touches on game one with just 4.4 seconds remaining.
And the Rats litter the ice.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. 5 hours away from the women's final at the soccer tournament. Somebody who is going to play for a share of $1 million will join us in 15 minutes. You can keep that sound effect handy. We do have breaking news. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, Dan Hurley has turned down the Los Angeles Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer. Didn't we think that number was higher?
Yeah.
And will return to chase a third straight national title, according to sources telling, it says ESPN, but that's really Adrian Wojnarowski. LA would have made him one of the NBA's six highest paid coaches. I don't know who are the highest paid coaches. I assume Doc Rivers, maybe Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich would be on that list. Well, let's be honest. It is a fact that UConn is going for a third straight title. Fact. Since they have won the last two. But the way that's phrased, I just don't see that being the motivation for returning. You're not weighing, man, I really want to go win a third straight title. I mean, you want to do that. But that's not the motivation for turning down the Lakers job. Again, maybe I'm looking at it too harshly. I just don't think that's your motivation. It's an added benefit for real going back to UConn. But I think when you look at it, and I remember we go back to last week when we started talking about Dan Hurley and the potential for taking this job, and there were three things. There were a lot of offshoot conversations, but there were three things about it that jumped out to me. One, how would Dan Hurley coach professional basketball players? What Gino Auriemma said last week, we played the clip of him on with Dan Patrick, that he runs his college program like a high school program. That's very different from how you would run an NBA locker room. Very different. So there's an element of that. How would he be able to coach NBA players? And that's not about the X's and O's of coaching. That's about relationship-wise. How would you be able to do that? Could you have a more relaxed, not coach versus player relationship? Because most do you think Joe Mazzulla for Boston, do you think Mazzulla has a traditional I'm the coach relationship? I don't believe so. It's not like it's a collaboration. Somebody's in charge, but it's much more of a, if there was a scale, I think the players are probably a little higher on the scale, and you as the coach need to manage how you control that and how you coach them. So there is an element of that with Dan Hurley that, to me, is an unknown. The biggest unknown is, how do you, as Dan Hurley, how would you, and he doesn't have to think about this now, how would you deal with 82 games, travel, 4 games in 5 nights, 5 games in a week? You don't have to deal with that at all in the college game. The only time that would ever be a factor is conference basketball tournament time. And at that point, you're not traveling at all. You're in the same spot for 5 days. And it's 5 and 5, which, again, those are just the games. The games are not really the problem. It's the travel. It's the fact that, and again, in the NBA, it's just a completely different beast. That, to me, is the number one factor, and the other one was the X's and O's part. But there isn't anybody who knows Danny Hurley who thinks that he can't handle that he is an elite basketball mind when it comes to the strategy and the game planning portion of being a coach. But it was that middle one that was really going to test him. And if you've got everything you want out of coaching in terms of your level of compensation, which I'm sure UConn is going to, we'll just say, sweeten. If you've got a great environment for your family, and he's an East Coast guy, and even though he's a Jersey City guy and his wife is also a Jersey person, Storrs, Connecticut isn't that far from your life. Yeah, it's Connecticut. It's a little bit different, but it's still close enough for the Hurleys to deal with. So if you have the chance to win and leave a mark, and you've got the compensation level is to what you want, and the location is ideal, you would be making a move for 2 reasons that don't strike me as Dan Hurley. One is money, and the other is ego. And I don't find that that's Dan Hurley in either one of those situations. So while it was tempting because it is the best job, it's the number 1 job in basketball. He also turned down Kentucky, by the way, which you could argue is the top college job. I would argue that North Carolina is the top college job. But either way, I mean, it's an argument to be made. He's got a great one. He's got one of the best college jobs. Certainly one of the 5 best. So don't make these moves for money. Don't make them based out of ego. And that's why Danny Hurley, I guess, has decided to stay at Connecticut. That's good for Connecticut. Whether it's good for college basketball or not, I agree with Gary Parrish, and these things are net zeros. It wouldn't be bad for college basketball, so it isn't necessarily great for college basketball. It's great for UConn. they don't have to find a coach that probably would not be as good as Dan Hurley. End of discussion there. But when we talked about it last week, there wasn't a single second where I was worried for the state of college basketball. We have plenty of other reasons to be worried about the state of college athletics than Dan Hurley going to coach the Lakers. So that's not going to happen. He's going to stay at UConn. This is according to Adrian Wojnarowski. So many people have confirmed it. Jeff Goodman of Field of 68 is already on the air on their YouTube channel talking about it. I assume that Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander are already talking about this. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Jessica McDonald, former North Carolina Courage star, now playing for North Carolina Courage in the soccer tournament, the 7v7 tournament, and she's playing for $1 million tonight. Yes. We'll talk to her next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's time for our countdown to the U.S. Open, teed up by Talk It Out NC. In 2011, Rory McIlroy had his golf major redemption at the U.S. Open at Congressional. Rory was coming off a disappointing Sunday at Augusta and needed a win. He got one. Rory started his run with a 3-shot lead on day one and led a victory march on Championship Sunday, defeating Jason Day by 8 strokes to earn his first major. Rory set 11 U.S. Open records in the process. There's your countdown to the U.S. Open, teed up by Talk It Out NC.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, and I've been telling you about the no closing cost mortgage since 1999. It's been that long, 25 years. I've been telling you for the last 25 years how you can save thousands of dollars by not paying closing costs when you buy a house. But now I'm going to tell you about saving your life. Forget about saving thousands of dollars. How about saving your life? Gordon Miller wants me to tell you about early detection. Prostate cancer, I don't know why we have seen so much of it of late, but we have. Gordon just beat it. Alonzo Mourning just beat it. Gordon Miller wants you to get checked. Early detection. Go save your own life, or tell somebody that you love that they need to get checked, men or women. Prostate cancer, breast cancer. Early detection is the key to saving your own life or somebody else that you love. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2147.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's bow time. So don't wait, grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Golfers, don't miss Global Golf's Father's Day sale happening in Raleigh now till Saturday. Check out Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf gear and receive 20% off pre-owned golf clubs from TaylorMade, Cobra, and Zexio. Now is the time to trade in and update your current golf clubs with Global Golf's 15% trade-in bonus. Shop for the perfect gift this Father's Day at Global Golf, located in North Raleigh at 7320 ACC Boulevard. Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on.
That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Victoria, you said you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah.
You were a basketball player?
Basketball, and I swam.
And you swam, okay.
Mhm.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
Jessica McDonald, a high-level, highly decorated soccer player, formerly of the North Carolina Courage, but still with the North Carolina Courage, at the soccer tournament in Cary at Wake Med Soccer Park, where she won many a match. I have watched her many a time playing for $1 million tonight against a former teammate. Jessica McDonald joins us on the Adam Gold Show. First of all, good luck tonight. Are you nervous playing for $1 million?
Thank you very much. What an incredible intro. Am I nervous? I get nervous even if I'm going to training every day. So yeah, of course I'm nervous. But in a good way, just like any other athlete would be. But nervous, excited. It's pretty much an equal feeling going into today's championship game.
It is tremendous. By the way, I've been out there so much. You guys are playing great. It's very cool. I'm like, wait a second. Where they brought Jessica back for this? That was awesome. Did you try to convince some of your other former high-profile teammates to come back?
Yeah, I contacted a few that are actually playing on the U.S. team. I won't name names because I don't want to, throw their names out there, or throw them under the bus. But yeah, I tried, but I think that I'm obviously fairly satisfied with the group of girls that I was able to bring into this tournament. I like to call us the little giants because that's what I feel like we brought a sprinkle of going into this tournament because, I didn't know what to expect. But, I definitely contacted some of my friends, but, just still satisfied with the friends that I'm playing with now here for this tournament.
How different is the style of soccer that you guys are playing now versus what you were used to, I guess? I mean, you played for, you're such a decorated player. How different is the soccer?
It's very different. I mean, you're up and down the field a whole lot more, obviously. It's short, it's sharp. You're playing in smaller pockets of space. Whereas for me, I'm naturally a winger, and, I like space. And so you don't get too much of that on these fields. So it definitely tests your technique out there and combining with your teammates as well. And so, you're on your toes the whole time. Whereas on a full field, 11v11, you can kind of waltz a little bit into position. But here you're on your toes the entire time. And so it makes the game, a little tiring. I don't know if it's because I'm 36 and not 26 anymore, but a little water break every couple of minutes is helpful. So, yeah.
Jessica McDonald is joining us. NC Courage going for $1 million tonight. It's winner take all. Is it cool that it's a winner take all?
Absolutely, because it just shows that, it gives women an opportunity to have an equal opportunity as the men's side. Basically, I saw this tournament last year, and I'm like, wow, that's nice. Must be nice. And so now that they've given women a chance, I mean, this is huge. We have little girls who are coming out watching this tournament, and maybe they want to play one day for $1 million. And so just for the little girls who want to be in our shoes, just to continue to love the game that they love to play, and playing for fun. But to top it off, sprinkle $1 million on there, it honestly doesn't get any better than that. So I think it's a really cool opportunity for, women globally, no matter what age you are, actually. So anybody can play, which is nice.
And as somebody who was a winger and a forward and somebody who was interested in scoring goals, isn't it great to not have to worry if you were offside?
Are you kidding me? I was just talking to a mentor of mine yesterday. Like, isn't it nice that you don't have to worry about offsides? I'm like, are you kidding me? My whole life, the 31 years I've been playing football throughout my entire life, I've always had to worry about offsides, and now I don't. This is being able just to freelance and just play freely. It's kind of a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Oh, it's just so great. You don't have to worry about the guy behind, some guy on the sideline or woman on the sideline with a flag up in the air. It's tremendous. And for somebody who watches a lot of, I'm glad you called it football. For somebody who watches a lot of football, I don't have to worry about VAR. It is so cool to just be able to watch and appreciate all of it. Have you been able to take in any of it aside from the matches that you are playing in?
Take any what?
Of the soccer tournament. It's been, I was out there Wednesday morning. We were out there for the first two matches. We were out there for J.J. Watt, his Burnley side, Pat McAfee's team. So we've seen a ton of it. Have you been out to experience the festival?
I unfortunately no. I am still in postpartum. I just gave birth 6 months ago, and so once I'm done with our games and training, I'm kind of kicking my feet back up and resting, basically. So I've been very low key, and I actually have not watched a single game this tournament due to my body still recovering from giving birth and playing at the same time, and just being back in the room with my baby. So. It's hot outside too.
Yes.
And, just getting out of the heat. So no, I actually have not been to any games, and I know this is something historical, and I know I'm kind of missing out, but I'm just fortunate enough just to being able to play in it, and then just going back and resting, basically.
So Jessica McDonald is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. First of all, congratulations on being a mom. Secondly, did it take some convincing? Because, 6 months isn't a long time. Did it take some convincing to get you to participate?
Not too much, because I am, at the point where I wanted to, when I did get approached with the opportunity, I was at the point where I was like, okay, I do need to, drop this baby weight, basically. I ended up gaining 40 pounds.
Right.
From pregnancy. And so I'm like, well, dipping my toe back into football and, getting my body back and really just playing the game that I love. I'm like, a tournament? I'm like, okay, that's, 6.5, close to 6.5 months postpartum. I'm like, I should be good to go. Like, I should feel okay. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. LFG.
I appreciate that. So how fast did you get back into the competitive side of it, and were you surprised at all by how competitive it was going to be?
Yeah, it took me, so I only started training about less than 2 months ago. It's almost been 8 weeks since I started training again, and I've been training with my teammate who's here with me, Maddie Wolfbauer. She's our leading goal scorer, and I've been training with her back at home at Next Level Training in Michigan, and we train and then we play small-sided every day. And so I'm like, okay, Mama still got it, I'm like, okay, I'm patting myself on the back. I'm like, okay, I think I'll be prepared for TSC. Me and Maddie both. So I brought her on board because we've been connecting really well at training every day. And so just an incredible experience, just being able to dabble back into the game. And coming in here, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect from anybody, any team. And so I kind of like the unexpected, just because it makes me less nervous and,
right.
I don't worry as much. And so I knew how competitive it was going to be because a lot of these women in this tournament I played with or played against. So I knew what to expect from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew it was going to be competitive. I just didn't know at what level because a lot of my friends who are playing here are retired also. And so it's just incredible just to see the talent that all these women still have. Does it surprise me? Absolutely not, because I knew these were studs who I had the privilege of playing professionally and in college with.
Before we let you go, Jessica McDonald, I was at the U.S. women's first match, and I sat close enough to listen to Heather O'Reilly scream her way around the field. Why are we subbing on corner kicks? Screaming, we have to. I mean, it was funny. She was so locked into her competitive side. Do you know how to get under her skin? Do you have a plan to throw her off her game?
Oh, no, maybe just a little shoulder to shoulder, show her my strength a little bit. And I need the key to get up to, just to show her my strength a little bit. And so, we'll see. Maybe a little physicality we'll get her.
All right. Well, I wish you the best. Thank you very much. Congratulations on Mom. And good luck tonight. Go get them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it. Jessica McDonald here at J_Mac1422. Jessica McDonald going for $1 million tonight. All right. When we come back, a U.S. Open champ ×2. Also, because it's not his only interest this week, you know what starts this week? Big Rock. Curtis Strange, who really wants to be in two places at the same time, at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst and at Big Rock out in Morehead City. We will talk to Curtis Strange next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we like calling North Carolina home because being local matters. It's why in every county, we have agents whose hometown is your town. That means we're there when you need us most, with personal service you'd expect from a friend or neighbor. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The NBA Finals are here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win alongside the champions because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with a winning $5 wager. That's $200 to use on same-game parlays, live betting, and so much more. There's no better place to bet on all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS to get started. Take a shot at an extra $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and you want to make those games more interesting. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst premieres Tuesday, June 11th on PBS NC.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, two-time U.S. Open champion Curtis Strange. In just a little bit, we're going to get to a rewind here in a second. Breaking news, though, Dan Hurley has decided to stay at UConn and not take the head coaching job of the Lakers. So, at best, and I'm sure there are others, the Lakers have been either formally or informally turned down by three of the all-time college coaches. Remember, how far do you go back? Mike Krzyzewski turned the Lakers down, right? Right after we knew that Mike Krzyzewski turned the Lakers down, we heard from the University of North Carolina that they had also approached Roy Williams, and Roy Williams said, nah. But I don't think it had gotten to the point where it had gotten with Mike Krzyzewski, but that the Roy Williams like, nah, I'm staying right here. And Dan Hurley has also decided to stay at UConn and make the college game his home. I've said this before. Dan Hurley leaving UConn to go to the NBA would not have been the end of college basketball. We don't need all of that unnecessary and, I think, inaccurate drama. As I threw in during the conversation with Gary Parrish, who joined us about an hour ago, we didn't see any of this when Jay Wright left Villanova. He won 2 titles in a 3-year span, 16 and 18. He was basically at the height of his powers. And he walked away not to be the head coach of the Sixers, but to just be. He didn't leave for a gig. He left to do occasional television. That's much more of a problem for the college game, where somebody who is not necessarily in his, 70s, when he walks away, when he's still got it going on, and maybe is in position to be the guy, that's much more of a problem for college athletics than Dan Hurley possibly taking the number one job in the sport. So, don't fall into the trap of making this more than it really is. And that would have been, man, the Laker job is the number one basketball coaching job on earth. Earth. There's no better gig than that. All right, let's do a quick rewind. And Curtis Strange is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. Love talking about not only golf, but fishing with Curtis. Christine Brennan, USA Today, wrote that leaving Caitlin Clark off of the U.S. women's national basketball team that was going to the Olympics was an enormous miss by USA Basketball. And I simply asked this question: is she really one of the 12 best or 6 best guards available?
Well, we play a little bit because they win most games by 30, 40, 50 points.
Right.
So everyone would get in. Let me throw some WNBA statistics at you, Adam Gold. This will be a first for you and me.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
Just checked. WNBA assists. You know who's fourth in the entire league in assists in the WNBA in her first month?
Right.
Number 22 for the Indiana Fever. Diana Taurasi, I don't even see her name on the list. I got to keep going down.
Right.
Caitlin, by the way, Caitlin Clark is also ahead an assist of Jewel Lloyd, who's made the team, Jackie Young, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kelsey Plum. She's ahead of all of them on the list of assists, which you could say is a very, very important stat for a point guard. She is number 2 in the league in three-pointers made. Threes are huge in international basketball, as you know. She's ahead of Diana Taurasi on that. Diana's getting that going-away gift of another Olympics. Again, one of the greats of all time, but 42 years old. Where's the future there? And, of course, Diana, from the college ranks, was put on the team, as was Rebecca Lobo, as was Christian Laettner, as, of course, your listeners will remember. This is an homage to college, is what the USA basketball often does. Points per game. Caitlin is ahead of Taurasi. She's on the list. And this is, by the way, getting blitzed. And statistically, not from me, not from you, but statistics in the WNBA, the person who's getting the hardest, strongest defense in the entire league, not any of those other Olympians I just mentioned, Caitlin Clark, 22. And I think there's this sense out there, Adam, that she's not played well.
No, she's played very well.
She's played great, but if you're asking about merit, I just gave you stats. She's obviously more turnovers, but as we know, Indiana, those players are just getting used to her. And so on merit, on the stats, how can you argue with what I just told you?
All right, real quick. I think I've tried to make it very simple about this. I don't think it's fair to talk about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or any of these other women as anything other than spectacular athletes. I think they deserve to be talked about as athletes, not female athletes. I don't think she's one of the 12 best. I certainly don't think she's far from one of the 12 best, and it's arguable that she is one of the 12 best. Because I think it's razor thin between her or Taurasi or Sabrina Ionescu. The other reality is that it's very possible that Chelsea Gray won't be able to play, in which case I would expect Caitlin Clark to get that spot. If Gray cannot play, she has not played a WNBA game yet, and we're not that far away from having to send the team to Paris. Like, it's a month away, a little bit more than a month away. So we'll see what happens there. But I just don't think that, I'm not surprised. I shouldn't say I don't think. I am just not surprised that she wasn't judged to be somebody that had to be on the team. Whether that's short-sighted or not, whatever. But I just think that from a pure athletic standpoint, very justifiable that she was left off the team. All right, we got a lot of things. It's a busy time in the state of North Carolina. We got fishing, and we've got major championship golf. Curtis Strange, a two-time U.S. Open champion, but because I know this event means so much to you, it also coincides with Big Rock, which is another event that means so much to you. How do you deal with this conflict?
Gosh, it also coincides with Scotty Scheffler winning every tournament on tour too. So there's a lot going on and a lot to talk about. But it all depends. I'm torn. Big Rock means a great deal to a lot of us, and this week we set another record with boats and purse and money and all the above. So I'm here for a couple of days in Pinehurst for the Hall of Fame. In fact, we had a cocktail party last night with all the former Hall of Fame members and current inductees, and I can't tell you how much fun it was seeing old friends that when you don't play anymore, you don't see anymore, and celebrate and have dinner, and then tonight's actually the ceremony for the new inductees. But anyway, and then I go back home for Big Rock for 3 days and come back here Pinehurst for the weekend. So trying to go back and forth. Thank goodness it's where I can drive back and forth and be a part of both. Ordinarily, I can't do that.
That is you can't drive to L.A. Country Club. All right, look, I'm curious.
Maybe I don't want to go to L.A. either. So that's another story.
That could be another. Yeah, it's another conversation to have.
Yeah.
Real quick about the way that Big Rock has exploded over the years. You and I started talking about this maybe 10 years ago or so. How much bigger is it today than it was just, say, 10 years ago?
It's doubled, at least doubled. We were having, and this was all before COVID. COVID is when it jumped.
Really?
But we had 125 boats. The record at the time was, gosh, I don't remember, 160 or so, and we have 271 number of boats this week. Of course, the entry fee's gone up because of they want to compete for more money, and the sponsorship has gone up, and the attendance at the waterfront every day went from a couple of hundred waiting for a fish to come in that would eventually grow to a couple thousand. Now there's a couple thousand waiting, and it's going to grow to 4,000 or 5,000 when a fish comes in. But it's like a lot of things. It's people watch in sports now. They watch the superstar or the superstar team. Other than that, I think we watch highlights on ESPN, and this is a superstar event in blue marlin fishing, and we're just fortunate it's in Moorhead, and it does just so much for the community and for the state, and recognition for a lot of hard work for the ladies that run the tournament, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and the support of the boats and the captains and the owners, and it's blowing our mind, and we're trying to keep up with it logistically, and that's a tough thing to do, but we're doing our best.
Curtis Strange is joining us here. We're going to get to golf eventually. Michael Jordan has a boat in it again. How much has that helped to raise interest in Big Rock?
Randy Ramsey and I were talking. Randy's our radio guy who owns Jarrett Bay and he's a longtime board member. He and I were talking about that the other day. You can't measure that, but it certainly has added pizzazz, name recognition. And Michael still being Michael, the greatest who ever played the game. Don't argue with anybody else with me, okay? Not even close. And personality and whatever he does, he elevates the event. And he has elevated our event. Would we be where we are now without Michael Jordan? We would be real close. But he's added some superstar status to it, and he brings in his boat. He'll fly in. He probably flew in yesterday on his G5, and so he's here ready to go. And there's other Hall of Famers, NASCAR guy and Charles Perry, a couple of Hall of Fame IGFA fishing legends in the tournament, and so it's all good, and it's terrific, and at this point in time in a sporting event, when it grows like this, all you're trying to do is not screw up, from our standpoint. And I just hope people appreciate it. It's tremendous.
You just wait till LeBron James gets a boat. By the way, Tiger Woods is Tiger is also a big fisher. Fisher? I didn't even know what that means. I know it's U.S. Open. It coincides with the U.S. Open a lot. What are the prospects of Tiger deciding, a few years down the road when he's officially done playing, that he might want to come up and maybe go challenge Michael?
Offshore fishing is a interesting breed of character, and it's all about competition with these guys, and Michael especially, but all these big boat owners and captains. It's about the big prize, and it's about competition. It's about winning and bragging rights. And just because the owner of this big sport fisherman boat over there, might run a company in Raleigh, doesn't mean he's not as competitive as anybody else out there. That's why he's in that position. So they come and they can let it all hang out, and they can compete, and they can write the big check for entry fee and possibly win. I think if you win it all this year, it's going to be well over $4 million.
Wow.
First place. So you have to win all the categories, but it's going to be exciting, and as it was last year and the year before. But it continues to just grow and grow and grow, and we're just trying to keep pace, like I said.
All right, let's get to some golf. Scotty Scheffler right now is doing things that we haven't seen since Tiger Woods. He basically is the favorite by a lot every time he tees it up. I haven't seen what the betting line is, but we're approaching Scotty versus the field territory the way he's hitting the ball. Yep. What are your thoughts on what we have seen from him, especially, the first 3-4 months this year?
Well, I just got this morning, I got an interesting stat. The last guy to win 5 events before the U.S. Open was Tom Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So even Tiger Woods didn't do this before the U.S. Open, but be that as it may, Tiger's still Tiger.
Yeah.
But he is, we just finished doing the PGA 4 weeks ago, and so I still got all these stats in my head. Tiger, I'm trying to forget them all too. Tiger stats and his career was second to only one person, Jack Nicklaus, and some argue better than Jack Nicklaus. That's an argument.
Right.
But Scotty Scheffler's stats, statistically golf-related stats, and now winning percentage right now is actually better than Tiger Woods. His greens and regulation, his fairways hit, his short game, his putting is all better because he drives the ball so much better than Tiger Woods ever drove the golf ball.
Mm-hmm.
And because of his ability to play the game throughout the entire golf course, he's not only the man to beat every week. You wonder who's going to beat this guy. Because when you watch, for instance, this last week, he drove it better than anybody else. He ironed it better than anybody else. He's putting in the top 5 on tour. His short game is 1 or 2 on tour. Statistically, who's going to beat him? Because you watch Justin Thomas or you watch Rory McIlroy. They miss a lot of fairways. Mm-hmm. They make a few mistakes. They do this. Now, they still play good golf. But right now, I wonder right now, Pinehurst, I got a glimpse of it yesterday driving in, and it's going to be so exacting golf, meaning greens are going to be firm, very fast, and Pinehurst greens roll off. You're going to have to be exact. Well, there's one guy right now that's as exact as anybody else, and that's Scotty Scheffler. So you wonder, unless something happens, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in the golf swing, and some days you have it and some days you don't. But he seems to be hitting on all cylinders every single day. So who's going to beat him? I don't know.
I mean, only Moore County Police maybe can.
Easy. Well, I'll tell you a stat. Okay, he's won 5 of the last 8 tournaments.
Right.
He finished runner-up at Houston, the one he didn't win. He finished runner-up at somewhere else.
Right.
And he finished 8th at the PGA after going through that debacle Thursday morning. And so I felt, what I felt so bad for? I really thought he was going to win at PGA, and then we would have the excitement of talking about Grand Slam. And truly, Jack and Tiger and Scotty are really the only ones I ever thought could win the Grand Slam, the 4 majors in 1 year. And it's disappointing, but still, he can win 3 out of 4 now. And at this rate, my gosh, in the tour, and he's winning a gazillion dollars because of these elevated events now. That's all these players are playing. Maybe a couple more smaller events, but they're winning a gazillion dollars.
Yep.
And you go, well, Scotty's won a major and in all elevated events. Well, hell, that's all they play now. Agree or not, I'm not sure I agree with that. You've separated a division on the tour, big events and smaller events. But be that as it may, he's winning every time he plays.
It's just amazing. And just specific to Pinehurst, because I was down there for Media Day not that long ago, and it's obvious that it's a second shot golf course. There's a lot of room off the tee. As long as you don't get a bad break, you can even play it out of the natural areas. The lies will be good. These guys are all good out of fairway bunkers anyway. It's really about proximity to hole, and I don't think there's anybody on tour. I don't know that there's anybody I can remember who was as close to pin high all the time as Scotty Scheffler is. The last guy I remember that good, in terms of hitting the ball flag high, was Nick Price back for about 3 years, 92, 93, 94, when he won his majors. I think he was probably flag high better than anybody I ever saw. But I think Scheffler is
Adam,
right there.
I got to tell you, just that last mouthful statistically you just gave out, you have issues. You're diving way too much into the stats of the game, But you're right. He's number one in proximity to the hole after driving into the fairway. And that's where that driving, comes into play.
Yeah.
He's in the fairway so often, it sets up the rest of the golf course. It sets up the hole. And now you can play more aggressive. And that's going to be so very important here at Pinehurst. As you said, the fairways are a little bit wider for U.S. Open. And it's not rough. It's waist area, and a lot of the what do they call it? Kind of we goof around and call it Johnson grass, but anyway, but then you've got to play, smart golf into these greens, and that's the other thing we didn't touch on. He's playing now. Granted, it's easier to play smart golf when you hit it so well, but he seems to not get rattled. Yesterday afternoon, it got close. He didn't look like he was any different than he was Thursday morning. And same pace, same this, same that, same swing. So he doesn't get rattled. It's going to be fun to watch. It's and then you get to a point like we used to say with Tiger. Okay, if do you take Scotty Scheffler and bet him against the field?
Right.
Well, that's tough to do because she's playing against 155 other guys. But at this point in time, it might not be the worst bet in the world.
Mm-mm.
But it's just going to be interesting. It's fun, and it's a great storyline for us, fans of the game, career guys in the game, TV people in the game. It's a great storyline when, we need something to bring us together. We need something positive to talk about because the tour is in a situation that we need to get out of right now. And we're slowly but surely, I think, going to do that. But it just takes time. So I think Scotty has been such a positive on all accounts for us.
All right, before I let you go, Curtis Strange is joining us, 2-time U.S. Open champion. Because you led me to it, and I just want to get your quick thoughts. Does there have to be a coming together between the Public Investment Fund and LIV and the PGA Tour?
Oh, no, I don't think there has to be, no. I think some people want it because I'm mixed. I miss watching Brooks Koepka and Cam Smith and DeChambeau and these guys are over at LIV. I miss watching them play, but they left us. Okay, they turned their backs on the stage that gave them the opportunity to go over there to make a big buck. So they're on a lifetime ban right now, and I don't know if I agree with a lifetime ban or not. But I agree with a significant ban before they could ever come back. And because they left us. And then some of us sued us. So, but forget about them for a minute. I want the tour itself of what we have. And we're not going to hurt with not having them back any time soon. But I want us internally to get us back together, and that's what we're slowly working toward. Agree with what some of the tour things are doing, smaller fields, no cuts. I don't think I agree with that because it has less access. Jack Nicklaus's tournament last week had 69 players in it. That's about 50. He normally has 120.
Right.
That's what these elevated events have. I feel for the 50 players that don't have the privilege and honor and chance to play in Jack's tournament. So that's where I come from. I like players playing against each other more often. It's completely different than when I came up because we used to have 44 tournaments and you played where you wanted to play. But golf is a long, stretched out, yearly competition, and to get all the players to play every time they tee it up it's almost an impossibility. But we're trying to do that, and I think the fans enjoy it just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's like NASCAR. Those guys race against each other all year long. Curtis Strange, I appreciate your time. Yep. We'll talk again. Enjoy the Hall of Fame and enjoy Big Rock, and then enjoy the golf, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, thanks, and everybody else, because it's going to be a great week here in Pinehurst. Thanks, Adam.
Great week in Pinehurst. Great week at Morehead City. Everything starts this week. Open, of course, starts Thursday. We'll be down there on Wednesday, already putting together a superstar guest list for Wednesday afternoon. I think we're going to be somewhere on the driving range. By the way, Scotty Scheffler, I mentioned this before, plus 320 right now. How is it possible?
Plus 320?
That you're getting plus money. Now, that's actually incredibly low odds for a golf tournament. There was a time where Tiger was even money, and it was the smart bet. Scotty Scheffler at plus money on this golf course? Sign me up. Victoria, thank you. See everybody tomorrow.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina